Hello students, I am Rehmat Khan from Shivjyoti Educational Group. I hope you all are doing well with your studies. Dear students, as you are in board classes, I request you to be regular to your studies. And if you don't understand anything from our lectures, please do raise your queries in our doubt sessions. We will be extremely happy to help you out. So let us start with today's chapter. Today we are going to learn a wonderful chapter of economics. Chapter 2, Sectors of Indian Economy. So let us start. Dear students, when we talk about economic activities are those activities which are done with the aim of earning money. मतलब जो भी चीज हम करते हैं पैसा कमाने के लिए, that is called economic activity. Some people create goods and some people give their services, and activities are classified in various groups according to their common attributes, that is what they do, which are known as sector. In layman term we call it field. People are working in this field, they are working in that field. For example, people going for work in factories, banks, schools, etc. Classification on the basis of nature, that is economic activities, we have primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So let us understand this one by one. Primary sector. In simple terms, when we talk about primary sector, here all the things are directly linked with the nature. Whatever we get from the nature by exploiting the nature. For example, farming, mining, fishing are some examples of primary sector. Secondary sector. In secondary sector, we convert the goods, the things which we get from the primary sector into finished product. That is, for example, converting sugar cane into sugar is the best example of secondary sector, where we convert the raw material into the finished products. Tertiary sector. Unlike the two sectors, that is primary and the secondary sector, in primary sector we are directly linked to the nature. In secondary we are converting the raw material into the finished product, but in tertiary sector here we just give services. For example, Flipkart, Zomato are the best example of tertiary sector. Other examples are transport, banking, insurance. Now we can say that these three sectors, that is primary, secondary and tertiary, are interdependent. That is, they are dependent on each other. And to prove this, let us take an example. Here in this example we can see all these three sectors are interdependent. For example, there is a field of sugarcane that comes under primary sector. Now, here to take that sugarcane to the factory, we need transport, that comes under tertiary sector. Now that sugarcane is further converted into sugar or a drink, that comes into the secondary sector. Fine. So here we can see this all sectors are interdependent, they depend on each other. This is a simple example. Gross domestic product, in short we call it as GDP. What is it? The value of final goods and services produced in each sector during a particular year provides a total production of the sector for that year. That is, the sum, the total of all three sectors, when we combine them, that gives us gross domestic product, that is GDP. But beta, don't get confused. Here we calculate the final goods. When I say final goods are that goods which are ready to use. Fine. So GDP shows how big the economy of the country is. Why this GDP is helpful for us? जिस भी देश का GDP अच्छा होगा वो देश डेवलप्ड होगा. फाइन. Comparing the three sectors between 1973 to 2003. If we compare these three sectors from 1973 to 2003, we can see lot of changes. Let us see. These graphs are already there in your textbook. You can go through the same. Fine. So here in the graph 1, GDP by primary, secondary and tertiary sector. If you see in 1973, the role played by primary was more, but if you see in 2003, the tertiary sector had boosted. मतलब tertiary sector बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है 2003 में as compared to 1973. In graph 2, you can see share of sectors in GDP. That is, which sector provides more percentage in GDP. Fine. Here, if you see in 1973, that was primary sector was providing more percentage in GDP, and if you see 2003, it again changed. That is tertiary sector. In the graph 3, you can see share of sectors in employment. That is, which sector is providing more employment. If you see 1973, it was the primary sector which was providing more employment. But if you see in 2000, still the primary sector is the major sector which is providing the employment. By this graph, we can understand that is a problem. The problem is of disguised unemployment. When I say disguised unemployment, it means hidden unemployment, because the contribution of primary sector in GDP is less, but it is showing the employment is more. That means more people are working than required. हद से ज्यादा लोग काम कर रहे हैं जिनकी रिक्वायरमेंट ही नहीं है. That is called disguised unemployment or hidden unemployment, which is not a good sign for any country. Classification on the basis of ownership. When we classify on the basis of ownership, we have public sector, we have private. When I say public, it is government. When I say private, the owner is the individual or group of people. Let us understand about this one by one. Public sector, that is, the assets are owned by the government. मतलब सारी चीजें जो होती हैं उनके मालिक गवर्नमेंट होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लैपटॉप, कंप्यूटर, फर्नीचर, द ओनर ऑफ दिस इज गवर्नमेंट. इन public sector, it is organized sector. Everything is done in a systematic way. Fine. Work for the welfare of the society. The government sector works to give service, not to earn profit. Reasonable costing. When they are working to give service, so the cost of the product they are giving will be reasonable. Example, Indian Railways, ONGC, SAIL, BSNL are some examples of public sector. Now let us talk about private sector. Private sector, here the owner might be an individual or group of people. All the assets are owned by the group of people or the individual who is the owner of the company. Here, work for profit. The main motive of private sector is to earn profit. Example, Tata, Reliance, Wipro are some examples of private sector. Classification on the basis of employment. On the basis of employment, we have organized and we have unorganized sector. Organized sector. When I say organized, an image should click in your mind. जब मैं organized कहता हूं तो आपके दिमाग में एक पिक्चर आना चाहिए. The image of a bank manager. किसका image? बैंक मैनेजर का. हैव यू सीन अ बैंक मैनेजर? अगर आपने एक बैंक मैनेजर को देखा है, द एनवायरमेंट वेयर ही इज वर्किंग विल बी वेरी गुड. He'll be in his AC office, he'll have drinking water, fixed working hours, he'll get monthly salary, his job is fixed, he'll get provident fund, medical claims, and he will get other benefits like bonus, he will be paid for Sundays, and he will be having paid leaves. उनकी छुट्टियों के भी पैसे उनको मिलेंगे. This comes in organized sector. ये सारे बेनिफिट्स आपको किसमें मिलते हैं? ऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर. बट ऑन द अदर साइड, ऑन द अदर हैंड, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर, जब मैं अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर की बात कर रहा हूं, अगेन वन इमेज शुड कम इन योर माइंड. आपके दिमाग में एक पिक्चर आना चाहिए, अ इमेज ऑफ अ पर्सन हु इज वर्किंग ऑन कंस्ट्रक्शन साइट, जो कंस्ट्रक्शन एरिया में काम कर रहे हैं. इफ यू हैव सीन दिस पीपल, देयर एनवायरमेंट इज नॉट दैट गुड वेयर दे आर वर्किंग. नो प्रॉपर ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, उनके पास पीने का पानी तक नहीं होता. देयर इज नो सैनिटेशन, नो टॉयलेट फैसिलिटीज फॉर देम. इफ दे आर मेड टू वर्क मोर, अगर उनको ज्यादा काम कराया जाता है, दे आर नॉट पेड एक्स्ट्रा, दे आर नॉट गिवन एक्स्ट्रा मनी, दे आर नॉट पेड फॉर संडेज, दे डोंट एंजॉय अदर बेनिफिट्स, दैट इज मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस एंड बोनस. सो दिस आर सम ड्रॉबैक्स फेस्ड बाय अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड सेक्टर. Can we help these people in our organized sector? Yes, of course. So how to protect the unorganized sector workers? These are some suggestions. These are some things through which we can help them out by making the laws. The first thing is to make the law such as Factories Act, Minimum Wages Act, making PF, that is Provident Fund, and gratuity compulsory to the unorganized sector. When I say gratuity, that is bonus, extra money which they are given. By providing guarantee of job, there must be a guarantee of job for them. Timings of job or work must be fixed. So by this we can help the people who are working in unorganized sector. Unemployment. Unemployment in simple terms, a person who is qualified and who is willing to work but who is not finding work is unemployed person. Fine. Types of unemployment, that is seasonal, disguised, structural, cyclical and frictional. When we talk about seasonal unemployment, you can see the unemployment which is generated due to the variation in season, that is called seasonal unemployment. When we talk about disguised unemployment, wherein more people are working, extra people are working than required. For example, there is a field, 10 people are working in the field, but required people are only 5. So the remaining 5 are called disguisedly unemployed, and the other name for this is hidden unemployment. Next is structural unemployment. When the economy fails to generate enough jobs, it is called structural unemployment. Next is cyclical unemployment. The unemployment that is created because of depression in the economy, it is called cyclical unemployment. The present time wherein COVID-19 is going on, this is the best example of this kind of unemployment. Because of this, lot of people are losing their jobs. Fine. When unemployment happens because of transferring from one job to another, this period comes under frictional unemployment. मतलब जहां आप एक जगह से दूसरे जगह शिफ्ट कर रहे हैं जॉब के लिए, तो ये जो टाइम होगा आपका, that will be called as frictional unemployment. Role of government in generating employment. What is the role of government in generating employment? The government can spend some money, or banks can provide a loan to construct well for irrigation. So government can spend some money. Dams can be constructed along with canals, which will lead a lot of employment generation. If you provide irrigation facilities, then more people will be working in the primary sector and they will be self-dependent and likewise you can generate employment. Government can invest some money on the construction of roads. That is, if the government is investing on the infrastructure, construction of roads, this in turn will help the village people to connect to the cities, and again they will benefit. More people can work. Local banks can provide credit at reasonable rate. If the bank provides the loan at reasonable rate, lot of people can take loans and they can start their own business. That will in turn help them to generate more employment. And at the end, we can see the last point, government can identify, promote and locate industries and services in a semi-rural area. That means there are some areas which are best suitable to set up industries. If government set up industries in such semi-rural areas, then the people from there will be employed in that industries and they will benefit from this. Fine. So these are some ways through which the government can generate employment. So dear students, I hope you might have understand this chapter well. If you have any doubts regarding this chapter, don't worry, we have the doubt sessions. I'll be very happy to help you. Meanwhile, I request you to take care of yourself, study nicely. Thank you. God bless you.